Well, good evening. On behalf of the person that invited you to this call, if you are new, I want to say welcome. My name is Brittany Francis, and you are on Top Tier Tuesday Testimony Night. Now, if you are a part of our organization and you are just on here to hear about the testimonies, that's why we do this. We do this so that we can hear about what is happening in each other's lives, the incredible, the incredible changes that are happening in our families' lives and those that we love. And if you're new, we want to say welcome. If you're just a guest and you are hoping for an answer or you just need hope, well, tonight is, I believe, that night that's going to earmark a moment of hope for you. So, with that, welcome. Now, what I first of all want to talk to you about is that this is not a normal disclaimer. The testimonies that you're about to hear are very, very real. Every single person has a testimony when they use this technology, as long as their body needs the technology to be used. So do understand that this technology actually activates your body to do what your body was created to do, which is heal itself. Okay, so this technology activates your body. Okay, we do not cure or treat chronic diseases or illnesses. This technology activates your body to stimulate, wake up your stem cells that have actually gone dormant. Now, what are stem cells? Stem cells are the master building block of the entire body. Okay, it's their job to naturally repair, naturally renew your body. Okay, they're found throughout various tissues and organs. Stem cells are a hot topic, right? If you're a guest and you heard stem cell activation technology, you were probably like me and my husband, where 17 months ago when we heard stem cell activation technology, my husband was a professional soccer player at one time, and he said, "My gosh," he said, "my whole body's messed up." He said, "I've heard about stem cells forever." Stem cells that are injected, what ends up happening is they're injected in a localized area, right? And they actually, hopefully, if the injection takes, those stem cells have the ability to turn into whatever is necessary for that knee, that hip, that bone, whatever it is to heal. Now, that's injections. Okay. Think about that for a minute. Okay. Our stem cells, we're going to talk about our stem cells instead of injecting stem cells. When our stem cells are awake and alert, they have the ability to begin to take down all of the inflammation inside of our body, to control repair. They actually do what is called triage, which means they put together a to-do list of what needs to be fixed first, second, third, fourth, fifth, if you have awake and alert stem cells. Okay, they can fight viruses, bacteria, and overall give you the energy, because what ends up happening is they have the ability to wake you up and actually reverse you in age. Okay, so your stem cells are absolutely incredible. They are undifferentiated. Okay, so we're going to talk about a technology that actually wakes up those stem cells, and you're about to hear some incredible testimonies about what ends up happening when your stem cells are woken up. But I wanted to open up with understanding what they do. So let me give you an example. If you were to go into your kitchen right now and burn your hand on the stove, if you have awake and alert stem cells, your stem cells have the ability, because they're undifferentiated, to triage and figure out what cells were damaged in your hand at the moment of the burn. So if you have nerve cells that are damaged, cardiac cells that are damaged, muscle cells, your stem cells, being undifferentiated, have the ability to turn into whatever is necessary for your hand to heal. And when that happens, testimonies happen. When your stem cells wake up and are alerts, testimonies happen. So before we go into some other testimonies and really go into the science, I actually want to bring on a couple testimonies, bring in the science involved. I want to play this video for you because I just think it's such an incredible video. We just received this just a few moments ago, and so I dropped it into this Zoom call because I wanted y'all to see this.
Hi, I'm Diane Stahl. Um, I've been using X39 patch now for, I'd say, about 2 months. And before using it, I was having hip issues, discomfort in my hip. I'm an ongoing cancer patient, and I also was diagnosed with bad kidney, severe bad kidney. So after using X39, um, I do not have the pain, I do not have the discomfort that I had. And my kidney numbers were at 25 going down. And when you get to like 15, they put you on dialysis. So I went back after using X39, and my kidney numbers went from 25 to 31. And I could not be more excited. So it's been a relief and a help, and I'll be using them. Like my friend said, when they put me under in my casket, I want to have one on.
So I wanted to play that because when stem cells wake up, I wanted to mention this because when stem cells wake up, again, they have the ability to start looking exactly like this sweet lady. They had the ability to really look at her body and say, okay, this needs to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. Okay. So with that, I would love her friend Sherry to actually, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute. I would love Sherry, if you could share quickly your testimony, that would be incredible because I know that this sweet lady was your friend and I was so excited when you just sent me this video.
Yes, she is. I just did made that video earlier today, so I wanted you to see it. She's super excited about sharing. But I started X39 last July, and I didn't think I really had huge issues. I did have one issue. I had been for an MRI. I had narrowing of my vertebrae, which I think is pretty common, but my nerve in my back was touching that vertebrae and causing some issues for my femoral nerve down my leg. It had been going on for about 9 months. I just thought, well, I'm going to have to go have that fixed. That's when I did the MRI, but I got on the X39 and it didn't happen right away. My first week, I had lots of energy. I slept great. I had bladder control. So if you had children on here, you understand that. About my third weekend, it kind of happened without me even knowing. But that issue with my leg, it just disappeared. I didn't have it, and I've never had it again. And I was chiropractic 3 times a week. I don't do that anymore. I don't need to. So that discomfort is completely gone. My stamina, as far as working out, I'm 62. My swimming, my walking, hiking, everything is amazing. Another really cool thing that happened for me that I did not even have radar on was I'm a celiac, and that's where you can't eat gluten. You get severely ill for mine was about 5 days if I got contaminated. And at Christmas, I'd heard this resets genes, and I'm like, I'm just going to test it. I tested, I ate gluten. I didn't get sick. I've been eating bread ever since December. So, and my most little recent things are just, you start watching what's happening. My most little recent things are like I have like a raised area on the back of my leg, just kind of I guess it's an age spot or a sunspot that is now about half the size it was last year. So it's almost just gone. Sunspots are fading on my hands. It's crazy. But those are kind of my newest things. But I use X39 and the Eon patch regularly.
I love it. Thank you so much because I just wanted y'all to hear that because, you know, everybody's body is different. Every single person's body is different. And so I wanted you guys to hear that because as we go through the rest of these testimonies, because I know that there are several people that want to share, what I'm going to tell you is that this is going to blow your mind. Every single person's story is different. And so I wanted you to hear what stem cells do so that once you understand what they do, you understand why each of their bodies, every single person's body, as you begin to hear more and more testimonies, why their bodies did what you are hearing. Now, why the stem cell activation technology? Why do I keep on saying when they're woken up? By the time we're 30, half of our stem cells actually go dormant, which means they go to sleep. Okay, by the time we're 60, 90% of them are dormant. Okay, and the fewer stem cells that you have, the faster you age, the slower you heal. That's why when a child falls, they can get right back up. When we fall, it takes a minute. right? Well, also, as Sherry was talking about with those sunspots, all these different pieces, your body begins to break down. And it's incredible to see the difference of when your body starts waking up and fixing the things that need to be fixed. Okay. So, to bring some validity before we really bring on a lot more testimonies, I want to talk about David Schmidt, the founder and the CEO and the inventor of the X39 patch. Okay. He has over 200 patents. He actually was contracted by the government well over 20 years ago. He was working on the defense side of the government of our military, and our military contracted him because he was so incredibly brilliant to come up with something that the Navy SEALs could use that would keep them awake for 24 to 36 hours straight. Now remember, this was over 20 years ago. At the time, our Navy SEALs were hooked on amphetamines because they needed to be awake and alert, ready for combat. Okay, so David Schmidt was asked to, what can we use that will wake them up, keep them awake, keep them ready to fight? But David, it cannot be anything that they put inside their body. So he began to, as you're seeing on your screen, began to look at light frequency and how a body would respond to light. Because he found years before that there were actually different chemical reactions that had been studied forever with different light frequencies when light was put on the body. Okay, so he found from Dr. Edwin Babbitt, very interesting. I was looking at this book the other day, The Principles of Light and Color. He was looking at how they would treat different health disorders way back in the 1800s based on different colors of frequencies. Now, deeper, he found that all living cells, and you're actually about to hear some testimonies about animals as well, all living cells emit light, and that is actually called biophotons. Okay, every living being. Okay, and there's actually DNA chemical reactions. When that light hits the DNA, the body creates chemical reactions. Just like the sunlight hits our body, and our body's chemical reaction is melanin. Okay, so that is an example. Okay, so he was really digging deep into this. Okay, so he dug deeper and deeper, and then he began to study, interestingly enough, that yes, there's light frequency around every body, but there's actually different colors of frequencies. Okay, so off of our body, it's nothing weird. You can actually see it through an infrared camera. We emit heat and light, but there's actually different colors of heat and light between 1 to 2 centimeters off of our body. And he found that there was actually a specific red light that when the body actually it lets the red light out, if it was reflected back into the body, that red light, the body produced adrenaline. So, ladies and gentlemen, well over 20 years ago, I present to you the first ever life wave phototherapy apparatus, okay, that reflects a frequency of light back in the body. It was called the energy enhancer. It reflected a red light, okay? So, Michael Phelps began to use this technology after Olympian coaches began to really get wind of this. Stanford University put their swimmers on this. So this technology really became a thing. Okay, so even if you look at energy enhancers with NFL players, et cetera, you're going to find that this technology over 20 years really was something that was incredible. But David Schmidt didn't stop there, y'all. And that's what's important to understand. He did not stop there. He began to look and he was like, okay, I found different colors of light frequency. He used what is called an FTIR. And he was looking and he was measuring all these different colors of light and he was reflecting those different colors of light. So he found one that the body would elevate melatonin. He found another that the body would actually block the pain, and you're probably going to hear about one of those. He found one that the body actually lowers the cortisol level and the inflammation, which of course inflammation is it's the beginning issue of anything in your body, right? But he was on the hunt for one thing. He knew that stem cells went dormant. He said, "What if we could wake up stem cells?" This is why you're on tonight. The testimonies that you're about to hear, the X39. This technology is the first wearable phototherapy apparatus that through the reflection of your own frequency of light, the body elevates what is called a GHKCU peptide. And in turn, the GHKCU peptide is elevated and stem cells wake up. This is known as the holy grail of healing peptide. Okay, so when that peptide is elevated, instead of needing to synthetically inject it in your body, miracles start happening. Okay, so that's why I wanted to start with miracles, but then also bring in some testimonies so you can understand why these things are happening. That GHKCU peptide is incredible, but waking up stem cells is really amazing because when you inject stem cells, you're hoping that your body takes some of those stem cells, right? And that those stem cells don't go dormant right away. Well, when you're constantly waking up your stem cells, you're constantly seeing change. So, Sherry, that was incredible testimony to show that it's constantly changing. So it's a proprietary form of phototherapy. This technology reflects that frequency of light back in the body completely naturally. There's nothing that goes into your body. It's non-dermal, which means there's no drugs that goes in the system. Nothing. It is light therapy. Okay. So perfect example. This does not get in the way of any medications. I had what is called Hashimoto's. I began to use this technology. My body began to fix itself. Okay. And so few weeks into it, there was something I was like, went to the doctor. I had my blood work drawn. He called me. He said, Brittany, you've got to stop doubling up your medication. I was on Synthroid. And I said, I'm not. He said, that's physically impossible. I said, what do you mean? He said, your levels have completely doubled and tripled. And he said, that means that you can take off all your medications. And I said, well, that's incredible. So, I would just tell you, lean into the testimonies that you're about to hear because the miracles are that you're about to hear, it's because their body began to go to work waking up those stem cells. Okay, now within the first few days 4,000 genes begin to reset, so you're going to hear some testimonies of right away these incredible things happen. And then sometimes it takes some time because you might have a lot of things going on of underlying issues. Within 6 weeks the brain becomes balanced. So PTSD, anxiety, depression, special needs children, miracles begin to happen. And it's because the body has triaged and is really going to go to work. Okay. Within 3 months, the collagen is increased. So I wanted you to see this timeline because as people are sharing their testimonies tonight, you're going to hear, well, after 3 months, this happened. After 6 months, this happened. After one, because their body was resetting. And within 6 months, it is clinically proven that the cardiovascular age of the heart reverses. So this technology is not anti-aging. I'm not knocking anybody that does anti-aging, but this is actual age reversal. Okay, so at the mitochondrial level is what you're seeing these real miracles start happening. After 3 years of research, they were actually able to release the fact that if you use this technology for more than 6 months, that you actually can go in front of a machine. The machine can actually look at your body and you actually on average reverse an average of 8.5 years. Why? Because the body's really going to work. Okay, so I wanted you guys to hear that because as you hear these testimonies, these are all clinical studies. The technology is not on trial. Okay, so this is not something that, you cannot patent placebo. Okay, so with that, what I love to do is I love to call on a few more testimonies, and I would love for Teresa, if you guys see you, if you would love to share, that would be amazing.
Hi, guys. I am 59 years old and I have been using the X39, X49, Eon. At night, I use Elevata and I use Carnosine. However, today I'm doing a quick one. This is a 1-day-old chick. It was just born yesterday and I actually had to help it out of the egg, and usually those fail. But because where I live, I have to help them out. And he is, or she, hopefully she's a she. Anyway, she's a 1-day-old chick, and she is fabulous. And she's got two other sisters, hopefully, that I actually saved too. So I've now saved 6 chicks. So I'm really excited about that.
I love it. Well, I love that because I wanted everybody to see. I mean, this is amazing. I didn't know that she was going to be coming on. I'm so excited we got to see her baby chicks. That's just so exciting. Thank you so much, Teresa, because I know last week you were telling us, but we got to see it in person. So,
Yeah.
Katai, I would love for you to unmute and please share.
Hey guys, I'm Katai Albert. I live in Austin, Texas. I have a wellness boutique in Round Rock, Texas. And the story is actually not about me. It's actually about one of my customers, longtime customer. His name is Ben. And when I met Ben for the first time, he had 2 legs when I met him. But last year, they amputated one of his legs. And, he's been a long time customer, like I said, so I've been helping him along his journey, so I know his story. And when when I started working, or not working, when I got introduced to the stem cell patch X39, I thought of him immediately. And so when I called him, I was trying to explain everything and trying to get him excited. And he said, "Katai, if you're calling me because you believe this is going to work for me, you don't need to explain anything. Here's my credit card." Okay. Wow. So, what I didn't know was that he was trying to save his other leg. The leg that got amputated was because of blood clots and poor circulation, and he was battling to save his other leg. I'm not sure what the unit of measure is, but I believe the blood flow of that other leg was at about 40% maybe. And after a month of X39, his blood flow was now over 50%. And what I didn't know also was that Ben was a huge skeptic, and he stayed with it because he trusted me and he trusted God. So every once in a while, when I would check in with him, he would say, "Yeah, I'm still on the program, you know, just sticking with it." I said, "Okay, great, stay there." So I saw him on Saturday. I gifted him a few more patches to hold him over, and he texted me last night, and he said that his blood flow is now over 70% on that leg that he was trying to save. So it went from 40 to almost double, 70%. So guys, he saved his leg. And the doctor was like, "I don't need to see you for 6 months." So that's just quite the story. I'm just thrilled for him.
Oh, I love it. I love it, y'all. This is the power of the technology. I am just woo, okay, saving legs. All right, Liz Toner, I'd love for you to share.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good.
Um, Alrighty, so let me tell you a little bit first about my husband. When I first heard about these patches, I heard them through my best friend. And Brittany, you were the one that actually did the presentation. And I went home. Of course, a few miracles, by the way, happened at the presentation with one of my best friends. But um, I went home and I showed my husband the patch. I wanted to go ahead and I was so excited about it. And I showed him this patch and he was like holding on to the patch and he was like, "Liz, this patch works." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, when did you hear about this patch?" I was like, "What?" Um, about 2 years ago, my husband was having memory loss. Now, I didn't notice it because the type of conversations that we have at home is, "Hey, are you hungry? What movie do you want to watch?" Or something like that. It has no meaning after 30 plus years of marriage. But my daughter he was in the car with my daughter and her husband, and they were going somewhere. And he had asked, Where are we going? They told him. 5 minutes later, he asked again the same question, and there goes the texting. My daughter was going, "Hey, something's going on with daddy. You know what? Let's find out." My husband's a kidney transplant survivor of over 40 years. And after COVID, he started having problems with his heart. So he's got a stent in his heart and he has arrhythmia. So he takes a lot of medication. So we were thinking it had to be that. Anyway, 2 years ago, I went ahead and, he got home that night and I'm being the nice, wife to ask him. And then he got all upset because, as far as he was concerned, I was putting him in the grave already. But uh, what ended up happening was I'm going to fast forward it now to what happened the day that I met you, Brittany. He said, remember when I was losing my memory? I was like, so in my mind, I wanted to get on his case and say, I told you you were losing your memory, but no, I didn't do that. Anyway, he said he had done research and he started using the X39. If you talk to him now, his memory's back. He's fine. He's 100% hunky dory. That was one, okay. And my husband has a photographic memory, so for him to even have an inkling of memory loss is overwhelming, but thank God he's fine on that. Now, he also had surgery. He had squamous cell carcinoma on his shin, and he had a 6-hour surgery. And he was in a lot of pain that evening, and he wanted something. So, I had just gotten my patches and, they were saying, always ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your, pain? And so I said that to him. And of course, he was not very happy. And of course, he told me it was 50. And so I put on the patch, I put on the ice wave, actually. I put it on his shin, and he told me that his pain went from 50 to 20. He went to sleep. I was ready to go ahead and patch him again. He was telling me, he woke up and he says, Liz, I don't have any pain. I said, what do you mean you don't have any pain? After 6 hours of surgery, you should have a lot of pain. But he didn't have any pain. He told me, if you want, leave me the patches. I'll go ahead and I'll patch myself if I need it. He went to work, went to Louisiana, came back that evening. He still was not in any pain. And that's my husband, the most extremely skeptical person in the whole wide world. And that's him. So he's now this just happened. This happened 2 weeks ago. Um, he stayed one weekend. It was Saturday. He did not get out of bed, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What's going on with you? And da da da. He told me he was having back pain, but also his blood pressure was, something was going on with the blood pressure, and I wasn't understanding. What I found out was that he's on two types of blood pressure medication, my husband. Well, he kept taking his blood pressure, and I'm thinking, what is going on? Well, his blood pressure is normal now. Yet he kept on wanting to take the medicine. And I'm going, why are you taking your medicine if your blood pressure is fine? If you take that blood pressure, it's going to knock you out. And that's why he was in bed, because he took his medicine, even though his blood pressure was fine. And I was like, why?
That's awesome.
Well, he's like, Liz, you're not supposed to get yourself off of these medicines so fast. And I argued with him. I said, I'm done with you. Anyway, he told me that he stopped using the medicine. So I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I love it.
I'm like, oh my gosh. All right, that's my husband. Now I'm going to tell you just a little bit about me real quickly, because I know you got a lot of people. Okay, with me, I started using the patches a year ago. I was extremely sore. And I mean, it wasn't that I could sit down and I was always in pain. I wasn't. It was just when I would get up to walk that I would started feeling like I was hit by a train, and I was completely sore. My daughter had a baby. I got three grandkids, and my daughter was having a baby, and I mean had a baby, and I'm babysitting. I babysit my grandkids, and She was like, well, go ahead, get on the floor and play with the grandkids and go upstairs. And I'm looking at the stairways and I'm looking at it like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I can't get on the floor, else I'll never get back up. I'm 61 years old and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is it me, my body? Is this what you got to go through when you hit the 60s? I mean, oh my gosh. Anyway, I don't know when this happened. But now I'm like, and I think it happened about 3 months in, where I can go up the stairs, I carry my children, my grandkids, I can get on the floor, I can get back up, and the whole 9 yards. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. The other thing was I was losing my hair. I did not, I was wearing fake little extensions, like the ponytail thing and everything, because all you see was when my hair was down was these little strings, it was bad. I'm thinking, fine, I'm losing my body. I can't walk and I'm going to be
And
bald. I
now
mean,
your
I
hair
don't,
game.
look at my hair. Okay,
I
wait. I
love
gotta
it.
show you. Because I couldn't even have a ponytail. And I got my hair back. I
I
got my hair
love
back.
it. I
I'm
love it.
I'm looking hot now.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, you are. You're looking so good. I love it. Thank you so much, Liz. I love it. We love you. I love it. One of our longest patchers. It's amazing. I didn't hear that story from last couple of weeks, so I love it. Tick Wilson, I'm so sorry. I wanted to see. I did not mean to overlook you. Would you like to share?
Yes, I
Yeah,
would love to share.
I'm so excited.
Um, so thank you for allowing me to share my experience. I'm Tick Wilson. I'm a brand partner with my wife, Dusty, and I'm 82, nearly 83, and I've been using the X39 patch for almost 10 months now. My interest in the patch was because I had a stent put in my widowmaker vein 3 years ago, and so if I could gain some heart changes, that was going to be good for me. By the way, John Hinckley sent us the video or the web landing page for This Is It info, and it was probably 3 months before I actually found time to take a look at it. And John was faithful; he kept calling back every month, and sometimes it takes people a little bit of time before they respond. The changes I've seen in my body is similar to what others have experienced: deep sleep with dreams, more energy during the day, and mental clarity. My significant miracle is my neck. I had C6 cervical fusion about 20 years ago. And when I was driving, the big thing about that was when I was driving, you turn your head to the left to check traffic when you're driving, to check that lane, make sure you're not going to pull into somebody. And my head would lock. It wouldn't turn. And I have to turn my head back to the right and then back to the left again, and then it would go. But meanwhile, every time I moved my head from left to right, I would hear grinding noises. They were grinding, crunch, crunch, crunch. So at about the 4 to 5 month period, I've been on the patches now about 10 months, if I didn't say that. And about the 4 to 5 month time frame is when there was no longer any grinding noise, and my head is not locked up since. So I'm grateful for what the patch has done for me. I can't imagine stopping the use of the patch. By the way, I recently felt like I had plateaued on my energy level, and we started using the Celergize, and my energy level is back up again. So if you still have time, Dusty's sitting here, and she has her testimony as well.
Yes, Dusty.
Hi. I don't know where I am. Okay. Anyway, okay. I'm 74 years old, and I started using the patch in October of 24. My hair color is less gray, and I sleep very well, and my brain fog is gone. I'm so excited about that. I was diagnosed with malignant melanoma on the top of my head in October of 22. I had surgery, radiation, immunotherapy. I required a large graft on my head. There was an issue with the healing of the skin graft on my head where a small place would not close up, and it was open to my skull. So I underwent 66 hyperbaric oxygen treatment therapies. which is the maximum you can receive, hoping to improve the vascularity enough to get the wound to close. The treatments did not work, and the wound stayed open. The next step we took after that was drawing my blood and making platelets and filling the hole with the platelets from my own blood. That took 7 months. When the skin finally covered my skull, it still left a deep divot in my head. It just barely covered my skull. For just this last May, I decided, let's put the X39 patch on the divot. I can't believe in 2 months, the difference of the vascularity, the skin is starting to fill in so that my divot is not near so deep. It's filled probably 2/3 of the way. It's just awesome in 2 months. And in the last 6 months, my vision has improved so much that I had to get my glasses changed so that I could see better again. And I'm just so grateful for the X39 and just loving everything that's going on. And I will be using it till I'm put in the grave.
I love it. So we have, I just love it. Yes. Now we have 2 more testimonies, and I want y'all to lean in because we're going to finish right after that. I'm going to finish, and then I'm going to open it up for Q&A. But I do have 2 more testimonies that I'd love for them to just share quickly, and then we're going to, I'm going to finish, and then I'm going to end the recording, and then we're going to open up for Q&A. All right. So Miss Stacy, if you could share your testimony, and then Miss Dawn, and then we're going to go to the very last piece.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Stacy Dickerson, and I have my granddaughter with me. Her name is Alexis, and this is Mr. Cooper. All right. So I wanted to start off by letting you all know that I had very, very, very high blood pressure, like 199/200, and about to have a stroke. And I'm 57 years old, 58, one of those numbers. And doctor put me on lots of medication, 2 forms of blood pressure medication. And they didn't touch it. After wearing the X39 about 3 weeks, blood pressure went from 199/200 to, it started going to 130/79. And now it's falling even more. So I also had, Cooper was going into kidney failure, and took him to the doctor almost $2,000 later. They're going to tell me, hey, your dog is not going to make it. You might as well, give him this food. He's going to need this, and he's going to lots of medication. So I was bawling my eyes out to Brittany. I don't want to lose a dog. And she said, Stacy, patch your dog. And so, of course, we patch Cooper. Cooper is still being patched. He's living. He's now living, and he's very spunky. And his hair was silver. Now it's turning, you all really can't see, but it's turning back to black, like he was when he was a puppy. And yes, my darling. And my sweet love here had a wart on her finger, on the back of her finger. And I said, what in the world is that? So we put the X39 on top of her wart, and her wart fell off about 2 days later. About 2 days later, it was completely gone, like it never existed. I had one on my finger as well for years, literally years. Rascal didn't move for burning, put a patch on, burned like the smithereens. And Brittany said, don't take it off, don't take it off. And so I did not take it off. 2 days later, gone. So it's been an amazing walk with the X39, and no more headaches. I'm doing good. Blood pressure is even further down, guys. So yes, the stuff is fantastic. The stuff is fantastic.
I love it. So I want to tap on 2 things. And then Dawn's going to share, and then we're going to, like I said, move on. But two things, we hear a lot of times, is it safe for children? When you go to thisisatinfo.com, you can actually click where there's a space that says children. I'm going to show you where that is. And the answer is yes, it's light therapy. So there are so many testimonies about children and then also about animals, y'all. Why? Because remember, every being emits light therapy or emits light. So those biophotons, so even a plant can get patched. Okay, Dawn, if you can unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm Dawn Jackson. I'm from San Antonio, and I started patching. The first patch I put on was January 31st. It was an ice wave on my knee. I had bone on bone, and I really didn't think it was going to work, to be honest. And my discomfort level went immediately from an 8 to a 2. I was in complete unbelief. Couldn't believe it. It was just crazy. So, since that time, I have noticed my skin has, I never even thought about anything else other than my knee because I looked into stem cell injections and all that, and I just never thought about anything else. My skin started improving. I'll be 67 next week. And I was just thinking, about my knee. Well, I have asthma. I've had asthma since I was in my 20s, and it usually was under control until I had COVID. And it completely went out of control because I had long COVID. And I was doing nebulizers 4 times a day. They had started putting me on biologic shots every 2 weeks just to try to control it. And I'd stopped the nebulizers, but I was on another several medications, but I was still getting the shots. And about two or 3 months in, I went to my doctor and I told her I wanted to stop the shots because I had started doing this and we wanted to see. I haven't had a shot. I have not had a shot since. I haven't had an asthma attack. I haven't had, you know, it's been amazing. I never dreamed that would happen. And I have scars that are softening up that are 20 years old. It's just been crazy. And I have a dog story too. So my little 18-year-old poodle mix was in heart failure with fluid around his lungs, and they couldn't get it off. And we brought him home from the vet thinking we would make him comfortable and he'd pass that weekend. That was in February. I started patching him immediately, and he's still running around here. Well, he's asleep actually at my feet right now, but he's doing amazing. Our vet can't believe it. Like, it's crazy. So, yay.
I love it. I love it. We patched our German Shepherd, and we just saw incredible miracles with her hip, and she had hip dysplasia. So thank you so much, Dawn. I'm so grateful that you shared, every single person that shared the testimonies. Guys, the benefits are unending, if you couldn't tell, from increased strength all the way to mental clarity. If you had COVID, long COVID issues, whatever it is, this technology wakes up that body, and your body is going to begin to put together that to-do list. Now, 70% of people feel a miracle between 5 minutes and 5 days. 97, get this, 97% of people feel a miracle within 90 days. If you have a to-do list, remember that your body's to-do list may be different than yours. So my husband wanted his back fixed first. What ended up happening? He wore the patch and he stopped snoring because God loves me more. And so, it was his snoring was taken care of. His anemia was taken care of. And then about 4.5 months into it, his back was taken care of. So with that, you're going to put the patch where you need it. Okay. So if you have a knee issue, put it on your knee. If you have a back issue, put it on your back. And then there's other technologies like the ice wave. If there is a very severe pain, then you can use ice wave, okay? And you can use the ice wave wherever that this comfort is, and then the X39 will wake up those stem cells. Eventually, you won't need that other technology that a couple of other people were talking about but you're going to put it where you need it. Now, for patent purposes, to prove that the technology worked, they chose two spots. One underneath the belly button for the most open point to the gut, and then on the back of the neck for the most open point to the brain. So if there's dementia, if there's special needs children, which by the way, we have special needs children that are now speaking that were completely non-verbal. Okay. Miracles, guys. When I say miracles, it's because it's just the testimonies are just too brilliant to call it anything else. Okay. Now you're going to wear this technology 12 hours a day. Take it off. You can put it on your dog or throw it away if you don't have a dog or a cat and put a new one on the next day. You want your body to rest. So stay hydrated with electrolytes so that those stem cells can travel where they need to go and do what they need to do. Now, this technology is so incredibly brilliant. At the end of this year, there is a documentary that's being released called Let There Be Light. So if you say, well, this can't be real, I can promise you this is very, very real. This technology is incredibly brilliant. There's more technologies to come. This company went from a $20 million to a $600 million company. The reason why I'm telling you that is because I want you to understand it would not grow at that rate if the technology was not real. You cannot patent placebo. You can screenshot this is at info.com and you can actually go here. If you say, well, what about stroke? What about the answer is yes on everything, on everybody, every single time given enough time. Okay, you want to wear this at minimum 1 month per decade that you are alive. So if you're 70, you want to wear it at least 7 to 8 months. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you say, well, are doctors using this? Good doctors are. Okay, so a lot of times we're just taught that we just need to medicate. Well, this technology again wakes up your body. Doctors are seeing this and getting a hold of this and they're going, my gosh, we had a heart surgeon a few weeks ago that said, I have seen more from this technology and gotten more thank yous from this technology than anything in my last, I don't even remember, I think it was 30 or 40 years of working on hearts. So guys, that's a power of the technology. We have recordings that you can actually hear about what doctors have to say, what stem cell specialists have to say. It's incredible. So between that and this, guys, people are hoping and praying, and I'm hoping that if you jumped on this to hear hope, to just gain a piece of hope, the answer is it's here. We're so excited that you're a part of this. I was just speaking to my dear friend now in Albuquerque, Natalie. Her mama, her kidneys went from 50% to 85% function. This is my miracle inbox. So, guys, it is absolutely incredible. Now, I'm about to open it up for questions. What I will tell you is if you decide to wear this technology, you can absolutely share it if you choose to. There is a route with that. Now, what you can do is you can go back to the person that invited you to this call. Okay. The core is just to see if it's right for you. It is, but you actually get 3 months worth of the X39. You can mix and match. You can do some ice wave, which actually blocks the pain while the X39 is waking up those while your body's waking up the stem cells with the light therapy. Or you can do Eon, which actually takes down inflammation. Okay, if you say, you know what, no, we're a married couple, we need more, then I would do the advanced. Okay, the advanced or the premium are great options. My husband and I, we have 4 kids. And so we did premium. We jumped all in and we wanted to share this with the world. And so we jumped in at the premium, but the advanced is a great option. It actually blows open. If you decide, you know what, no, there are way too many people that I know and love that need this, join the club. That's what exactly my husband and I saw. So this is all my husband and I do because we've seen the miracles that happen just using this technology. So I am just so excited that you joined us tonight. People are hoping and praying for an answer, and I hope that this gave you hope. So with that, get back to the person that invited you to this call, and I'm going to begin answering questions.